Hi, both. Thanks for joining us today on our Business Gurus channel, where we will be discussing key business topics to help students grasp the most important elements of their course in preparation for their exams and future career. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here, as always, to process your source material and really get to the heart of what matters in business strategy.
That's the plan.
And today, our mission is decoding one of the biggest forces out there, technology. Specifically, how tech doesn't just nudge businesses to change, it forces them to completely rewrite their core aims and objectives.
It's a powerful mandate, absolutely.
Yeah, and we're not just talking about small tweaks for efficiency here. The core idea we're digging into is how a new technology, think faster internet, cheaper data, can basically make a company's main product its whole reason for being, well, irrelevant.
Totally obsolete.
Which then forces the leadership to, ditch the old playbook and create entirely new goals, usually around innovation or digital services.
Exactly. And that shift, that pivot, it's fundamental. We're not talking about making the existing thing better. We're talking about maybe abandoning it altogether.
Right.
And the case study in your sources today, Netflix, is just a perfect example of this. A business forced to redefine what success even looked like, moving from physical stuff to a purely digital world.
That's the journey we're tracing from mailing DVDs in red envelopes, remember that?
Well, vividly.
To becoming this global streaming giant. We're looking right at how the tech met changing habits and just blew up the old objectives, forcing new ones. Let's get into that foundational pressure.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's unpack this core idea. Technology forces new business goals. What does that actually look like on the ground for a company? Is it just about keeping up, being faster?
It's more fundamental than just speed, though speed is part of it. Technology really acts as this strategic push. It changes the basic economics.
Or so.
Well, if new tech lets someone else deliver something instantly or way cheaper than you can with your old methods, well, your goal can't be just optimizing the old way anymore.
Because the old way is losing.
Exactly. The goal has to shift. It moves from, say, efficiency doing the old thing a bit better towards innovation, which might mean doing something completely new.
And if you don't make that shift in your aims,
Then you're basically accepting that you'll become obsolete. It sounds harsh, but that's the dynamic your sources point to.
yeah, the sources really emphasize this isn't small stuff, it's existential. If your whole company is built around delivering, I don't know, physical widgets, and suddenly nobody needs physical widgets,
Your entire purpose has to change.
that's a massive leap, though. Scary stuff for any established company.
It is terrifying because you often have to give up something you're actually really good at,
Yeah.
Trade that mastery for, well, for a risky bet on something new.
Okay, let's ground this. This is where the Netflix story really comes in handy. Before streaming, they were, like you said, masters of physical stuff, logistics.
Precisely.
So most people know they started mailing DVDs. But let's look closer at that initial objective. It wasn't just rent movies.
No, not at all. It was really about tackling a huge pain point in the market back then, using basically smart logistics.
And the key thing, which your sources flag as absolutely critical.
No late fees.
Exactly, no late fees. Think about Blockbuster back then.
Oh, yeah. Late fees were practically part of their business model, right? A revenue stream.
Definitely. And Netflix saw that as this massive point of friction for customers. Hassle, cost.
So their early objectives were all laser focused on nailing the delivery system, getting discs out fast, getting them back, managing inventory, all built around a subscription model that didn't need late fees.
They were essentially a really, really optimized postal logistics operation that happened to ship movies.
That's a great way to put it.
And that initial innovation, it was a response to market conditions, right?
Yeah.
Using the tech, they had the mail system, subscription software brilliantly, and it worked.
It worked very well for a time.
But the clock was ticking. The big disruption wasn't about better logistics. It was digital. It was coming.
Always looming.
So they nailed their first objective. Mastering physical distribution. Profitable. Successful. What then pushed them from that, from mailing DVDs to becoming this global streaming thing? It seems like such a massive, almost impossible jump,
Yeah.
especially when the DVD part was still making money.
Right, and that's the crux. This is where technology and consumer behavior just became totally intertwined. Your sources pinpoint two key drivers.
Okay, what are they?
First, obviously, the tech capability itself. You needed the pipes. So think widespread, high-speed internet finally reaching homes.
Broadband taken off.
Exactly. And alongside that, the cost of cloud computing, storing and delivering massive amounts of data just plummeted. Suddenly, streaming video at scale wasn't science fiction. It was becoming economically viable.
And there was another tech piece too, right? Getting the video itself smaller.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Video compression. Things like the H.264 codec becoming standard. That meant you could stream pretty decent quality video, DVD quality or close enough, without endless buffering, even on okay-ish internet. That tech laid the groundwork.
Okay, so the tech makes it possible. What was the second driver?
That fed directly into changing habits. Once the tech showed instant delivery was possible,
Yeah.
people wanted it yesterday.
Right, the patience factor disappeared.
Completely. That whole idea of waiting a day or two for a disc, which was totally fine for the DVD model, suddenly felt ancient. Why wait if you don't have to?
So the technology basically made their core delivery method, physical mail, seem slow and clunky overnight.
And expensive, relatively speaking.
Hmm.
Think about the cost per gigabyte stream just falling through the floor compared to the cost of mailing a physical disc back and forth. The economics flipped.
So their core objective had to change. They couldn't be the best DVD mailers anymore. What did they have to become? What were the new objectives?
They had to pivot to completely new metrics, new goals. The old objective was like minimizing cost per disc mailed. The new objective became about maximizing subscriber lifetime value, keeping people subscribed, LTV.
And how do you do that? What changes did that force?
Two huge objective shifts. First, they had to become masters of data and algorithms. Forget physical inventory. The key asset became the recommendation engine. Knowing what you watch, predicting what you'll watch next to keep you hooked.
So the objective becomes data capture, personalization.
Precisely. And second, maybe even more profoundly, their objective shifted again towards becoming a content creator, pouring billions into making their own shows and movies. Originals.
Why that move?
They realized to really control that subscriber LTV and to guarantee they actually had stuff people wanted to watch as studios pulled back content, they couldn't just be renters anymore. They had to own the whole pipeline from script to screen.
Wow, that is a complete transformation from logistics experts to algorithm gurus to basically a Hollywood studio.
It shows how technology forces not just operational tweaks, but a total rewrite of your strategic focus, your core reason for being.
And for you, the listener, think about how many services you use daily that are grappling with this. If your business relies on a process that new tech could make obsolete, well, your objectives need to start shifting now.
That's the core lesson here. The Netflix story just perfectly maps how technology is this incredibly powerful, almost compulsory driver for changing a business's fundamental aims. The tech created the possibility.
And changing consumer habits created the urgency.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better.
So what's the bigger picture then? We've hammered on technology today, but your sources do remind us it's rarely just tech acting alone, right? Objectives shift because of a mix of things.
That's a really important point. Technology often works with or amplifies other forces. Think about market conditions.
How did that play in here?
Well, the tech for streaming arrived just as market conditions were shifting anyway. Physical media sales were declining, video stores were vanishing, content owners were getting nervous about licensing. The tech capability landed in a market already ripe for disruption.
So the tech and the market sort of pushed in the same direction.
Precisely. And then there are internal reasons too. Remember that whole Quickster fiasco?
Oh God, yes. The plan to split DVDs and streaming into two companies? Disaster.
A brief, painful disaster, but it showed how hard it is to manage these objective shifts internally. The tech demanded a split focus, a new identity, and organizationally, that's incredibly disruptive. It nearly tore the company in two because the required objectives were so different.
Yeah, changing the company's entire DNA while it's still running.
It highlights that the choice Netflix made wasn't easy or obvious at the time.
Mhm.
It was a difficult, risky bet based on where they saw technology going, not based on where their profits were currently coming from.
That's the key insight. Future-driven objectives.
Yes.
Perfect. So the final thought for you to take away. If tech forced a company built on mailing plastic discs to completely reinvent itself around algorithms and original content, what current aims and objectives in your world, your field, might need rethinking?
Ask yourself, where could technology make our current strengths irrelevant?
And what new, maybe uncomfortable objectives should you be starting to focus on right now because of the tech that's coming or is already here? Think about how tech, the market, internal pressures, how they're all intersecting in your space.
That's the strategic challenge. Keep exploring those intersections.
Thanks to both of you for joining us today. You've been listening to the Business Gurus. Let's now hand it over to you. What further questions do you have based on what we've discussed so far? Leave a comment and we'll get back to you right away. If you haven't already, hit that follow for more business tips.